I have something for you today that is disgusting in the sense that it is a display of, I don't know if it's lack of empathy or vulture capitalism or the broken wage tip employment system that we have in the United States, or just an example of bad people. I don't know what this is, but it's from CNBC. That's the financial TV channel. They had a whole story about a trick to save you money when you go out to eat. Now, it turns out that the trick isn't really much of a trick. It's just tip less. Keep more of your money instead of giving it to the underpaid waitstaff who often have a base wage of not much over $2 an hour. What a trick, right? Here's a trick to save money when you go out to eat. Tip less. Boom! You'll be able to retire early before you know it. Check out the headline from the article. This simple trick could save you over $400 a year. It really implies that it's actually a trick. And what you will find when you read into it further is that it's not much of a trick. It's the article says, my brother and I have been tipping the same way ever since we first got our Velcro wallets and bowl cuts, using the method our father taught us some 20 years ago. But after watching enough friends fill out their bills at restaurants, everything I once thought I knew about tipping came crashing down on me. So what is the trick? It's just giving less money to the waiter or the waitress. Here's some video from the segment that they did, and I'll tell you in advance how they outline the trick. They say, when you calculate how much you're tipping, don't include the tax, right? If you order $100 in food and taxes are $10, tip on $100, not $110. Take a look at the clip.
It's customary to tip 15 to 20% on top of your bill, according to the etiquette experts at the Emily Post Institute. But what exactly does that apply to? For example, take a look at my bill. It was $100 and then $108 after tax. So do you tip on the pre-tax or the post-tax total?
Pre-tax. Post-tax?
After tax, generally.
Okay, what's the difference? Because I'm confused there.
From an etiquette standpoint, tipping on pre-tax is absolutely fine. You don't have to tip on what you are already being taxed upon.
I never knew that before.
Neither did I, but it can be a game changer when it comes to doing the math in your head.
Basically what they're saying is, you don't have to feel bad if you tip on the pre-tax total. Go ahead and do it. You aren't supposed to tip on taxes. And they say it will save you money without making you look cheap. It's not super clear to me that it doesn't make you look cheap, I say. But here's the thing. Are they wrong? They're not wrong. Okay, you don't have to tip on the tax. I get that. But to call this a trick is merely to say, here's a technicality for which you can not feel guilty about giving less money to underpaid waitstaff, right? Congratulations, you were never supposed to tip on the tax, and you can stop doing it right now and not feel like you're doing a bad thing. Now, I have a view on this that might anger people no matter what side of this entire tipping fiasco you're on. I'm completely against tipping. Okay, I seek out restaurants where tip is included in the bill and waitstaff are paid a fair wage. I went to one in Boston recently called the Tasting Counter, where they do this. You just show up and it's all-inclusive pricing. I think that the tip system we have is disgusting. But I'm not going to punish the person making $2 and something an hour because beyond their control, this is the system we have, right? When I go out, I tip well. I tip 20%. I tip on the tax. And if someone's extra nice, I'll even tip more. I was in Washington, D.C. a couple of weeks ago. Our waiter at a great restaurant I went to recognized me. He was a fan. He ended up giving us a free bottle of wine. Or, well, we ordered a bottle of wine. He charged us for a glass of wine, but gave us a bottle. So I tipped him a bunch more, right? Because it's not his fault that this is the system we have. So here's my message. If your financial situation is such that tipping on the pre-tax amount versus tipping on the post-tax amount changes your financial stability, that's not a restaurant you should be at, okay? You should either be going out to eat less frequently or you should be going out to eat to less expensive places, okay? Don't punish the people at the bottom for a system that they have no control over. And I've done this at times in my life, okay? There were times in my life where I made the calculation that I'm not going to go out and choose to save on tipping. Maybe I just need to go to a less expensive place or I'll eat in tonight. And I'm not going to go and skimp on the tip. CNBC should be ashamed of themselves. And there's the sort of smaller lie and the bigger picture problem here. The small lie here is that this is really a small difference to most people, okay? The idea that they deserve to be selfish and keep the money from underpaid waitstaff, in the end, we're not talking about a huge difference on pre or post-tax tipping. And that gets us to the bigger reality, which is while you have average people and waitstaff for whom that might actually be an important difference, tipping post-tax or pre-tax, you have bigger picture, huge corporations and the very rich hand-picking who they want making law that benefits them at the expense of everybody else, right? Rather than advice on how to keep more of your money away from the waitstaff that's being underpaid to begin with, what about the fact that the entire system is so grossly unequal that the difference between tipping post or pre-tax is so impactful, not just to the people going out to eat, but to the waitstaff as well, is the tragedy, right? We shouldn't have a system where there is such inequality, such power for corporations and the rich, and then you have people who have to figure out, I might calculate the tip pre-tax rather than post so that I can afford to be here. And then you have the waitstaff who say, if people all start going pre-tax, that actually really hurts me and I need that money because of the financial situation that I'm in. That's the tragedy. And CNBC here, this is a disgusting and vile video. I don't know how else to say it. They should be ashamed of themselves. If you disagree with me, I genuinely do want to hear from you.